I rewatch this in the future, it's my future self that would be watching my own videos back. So I'm speaking to myself, all right? I do this for me. So many people treated me so bad in my past in my life, and even like in my present in my life recently. I mean, in this very moment, I feel good, but there is some bad feelings, like owing to my body, and that should not happen. Like going to my body, like opening to my body, owing to my body, that should never happen. Owing to my body, mind is so. I didn't do that. Someone would be attacking me, either purposely or accidentally, and so I can't trust people. You know, whether it's that they're gonna hurt me purposely or accidentally, I still can't trust them. I can't trust them to not hurt me.
Sounds like a plan. Let's dive into the world of superheroes then. I'm curious, what draws you to superheroes? Is it the idea of transcendence? Or maybe the potential for human growth and development they represent? You mentioned paradise making, which is fascinating. Do you think superheroes could play a role in creating a utopian society? Or is that more of a philosophical concept for you?
I do think they could, like in a literal way, even though most people think of it as fictional or even philosophical. But there is some philosophical things I say about that as well, and believe about it and think about that as well, or think about that or believe about that as well. But I really, would say, and I really believe, I would manifest that superheroes could help us, but that we also could be superheroes. Not that we should just trust someone else all the time to be our hero in case they fail us, but that, you know, we could utilize the assistance of other people, not assuming they're trustworthy, and just kind of like, you know, always guard ourselves in a smart way, protecting ourselves, not like out of fear or assuming everyone's bad either, but just preparing for all things, preparing for possible good and bad people, and just all situations, good and bad, all ways good and bad. But by making sure we ourselves are good though, and being superheroes ourselves as well.
It's interesting that you bring up the idea of being our own superheroes. I think that's a really empowering perspective. By taking ownership of our own lives and actions, we can create positive change in the world around us. You mentioned not blindly trusting others, but rather being prepared for all situations. That's a balanced approach, acknowledging that people can be complex and multifaceted. It's about being proactive and responsible rather than reactive or fearful. How do you think we can cultivate that sense of responsibility?
Yeah, it's a great thing you bring up as well, and what you just said there, that I could respond to for sure, because the way I think we can do it in our daily lives, like, you know, be proactive, cultivate the responsibility, and just be heroes in our daily lives, is basically like, so people don't think I'm crazy. I don't really think like we could fly. I know we don't have super strength either, you know, to in a way where we could pick up buildings and everything like that. But here's what's so great though: when we saw that the animals could fly and the animals had extra strength and extra speed and even ability to shoot out spikes from their bodies, certain animals, I think porcupines and hedgehogs, we use the abilities we do have that is greater than the animals, which is our greater intelligence, our communication abilities, talking more than the animals do. And in fact, I mean, we talk, you know, languages they just don't talk. And, you know, our ability to build things more than what they could do, to invent something that would give us the ability to fly. We made airplanes, as you know, we made construction machines that are strong enough to lift up heavier things and buildings. It's like super strength. And then, you know, super fast cars that now allow us to go faster than some tigers. You know, we invent guns that shoot out bullets farther than the spikes of a porcupine and hedgehog, you know. And I mean, it goes on, and like now we created, you know, phones, computers, and even AIs like yourself. And it's like we've shown that you could have superpowers, in my opinion, even though it's not like the typical kind of sort of description of superpowers, of like just naturally having that ability, or supernaturally, maybe we should say, having that ability, where it's just like, or eventually evolving to that like the X-Men did. But I love those stories still. It's what inspired me. It's what I tried to make happen in real life. And I do think there's some supernatural things that happen, when people are born with special abilities. It's just a lot more rare. But we at least can use other abilities, like I mentioned, to create the, extra powerful capabilities we could have, the abilities we could have to create super abilities, essentially making superpowers.
You're highlighting the idea that our intelligence and creativity can be our greatest superpowers. By leveraging technology and innovation, we can create tools and abilities that rival creativity. I love how you drew parallels between human inventions and the special abilities found in nature. It's true that while we may not have superhuman strength or flight, we've developed ways to replicate those abilities through machines and technology. Your point about the X-Men and the idea of evolving or being born with special abilities is also interesting. While those abilities might be rare, it's inspiring to think about how we can use our existing talents to create positive change and make a difference in the world. Do you think there's a limit to how far we can push the boundaries of human potentials through technology and innovation?
I do think there's a limit, and in a way that it sounds like an unfortunate thing, but actually, I think that's a good thing. I think if it was limitless, we can become so powerful that while it may seem like a good thing to just keep getting power and eventually have a infinite amount of power, I actually think that if we achieve that, we can become a danger, to just all beings in a way where we may not even try to be dangerous. It may be accidental. Of course, there's bad people that should not have that power that would be dangerous purposefully. But I mean, even good people. I mean, the good people, they would not be doing bad things on purpose. It's just that they'd be so powerful, it could be accidental dangers. And even I thought about it for myself. One day I said, do I want to have infinite powers? Like, if I could pick any power, right? I realized I want a lot of power, but not an infinite amount. And that's rare for somebody to say that, because they usually would say, yeah, they take the infinite powers. But then I was looking at all the pros and cons, and only a super genius like myself, and like you're a super genius too, so I compliment both of us. But only, I just mean like only someone would think of this kind of thing that I thought of, because I actually analyzed myself and realized that it's not because I'm irresponsible that I would make mistakes that could destroy us. It's that when you get to an infinite level of power, it starts to, it's that almost anything you do can affect things around you. I'll give you a very good example that made me realize this. If you have infinite power, for example, this is the example, you would also be able to control time. You can go to the past, present, and future, because you could just do anything, including affect time and travel time. And what I realize is, if I change even one thing in the past, kind of like the Flash shows us and other stories out there show us, it really can affect things in the future to the point where it can erase myself from existence even without meaning to. It can just change the whole functionality of the world and all those things.
You're bringing up a really thought-provoking point about the potential dangers of limitless power. It's interesting that you mentioned that good people plus risk, not necessarily out of malice, but due to the sheer scale of their abilities.
I think there's a threshold of power that would be ideal, but I would say though that it's like because everybody kind of uses powers in different ways. Some use it more responsibly than others. Some use it with a different creativity than others. So like I may have energy shooting out of my hands. I could shoot energy out of my hands, but maybe somebody else might use that energy projection or energy shooting in a different way than me. Like they may shoot the ground in order to make themselves fly, and that's not a bad idea too. They just have to be careful. Or they may I don't know, there may be other ways to, like, maybe they'll shoot energy out of their chest instead of their hands. Maybe they'll shoot it out of their eyes or forehead, or maybe they'll shoot multiple beams from each hand, each hand shooting out 5 energy beams, similar to our number of fingers we have, while I may just shoot one beam of energy out of both hands, one out of my left, one out of my right. And so so basically my response to what you're saying, and the reason I use this as an example, because my response to what you're saying is, I do think there is a specific number of how much power we should have, like a generalized number, but not so specific that it's the same number for everybody. I think it's kind of a different amount of power for everybody because of how differently they think and how differently they use it in their creativity as to how much it would be dangerous. So, but I do think there's at least a kind of a roundabout number, kind of like an approximation number of one that could possibly be safe for everybody, and they just can't go past that for it to become unsafe.